Okay, guys, this is another one of the 3 videos I'm making about the literary criticism essay. This one is about poetry, the poems from an honest answer by Ginger Andrews. Now, before you all, cancel, exit out of here, these poems are very accessible. They're not hard to read, they're not hard to understand. So I purposely chose them for that reason. Ginger Andrews worked as a maid. She cleaned her hotel rooms and wrote poetry on the side, and her poems won the very prestigious Yale Poetry Competition. So they're quite good, and I think very relevant to everyday life and what people go through. These are the requirements. Um, they're pretty much the same. Don't forget that you need 2 sources, one from the SLU library and one from the poems. Be sure you use MLA format. It's in the Little Brown Handbook. I know it's thick, I know it's heavy, but you can look at the index and find the pages where it very well illustrates to you how to set that up. These are the topics. They're pretty much the same topics I chose for the other 2 possible essays. This one particularly deals with women and poverty because she's a woman and she was poor, and sort of what they go through and how they deal with their situations and their lives. Identity, which is my favorite topic. Those of you who know me know that. Um, even though she's poor, I think she wants us to understand that poor people are not different from people who aren't poor. They just don't have any money. They still want the same things. They still dream and hope and plan, and they just often don't have the resources to to reach their goals or get what it is they're hoping for. Identity. How do we look at poor people? What do we think? What are our stereotypes that we have of whether they're true or not? And how do we know? How much time do we spend really trying to figure out what people need and what it is that will help them be successful and, you know, find their dreams, follow their heart. Um, I included gender in here because even though it's mostly about women experience and what their experiences are dealing with poverty, there is a poem about her brother or about the character of the brother. And remember that poets, in poems there are characters. It is not an autobiography. It is not their memoir. It's a story. There are characters. And in this one of the poems, the character's brother um, gets sent to juvenile detention, and then he ends up in prison. And it says the girl was lying, and it really didn't happen. And so if you see the tone of how the narrator of that poem, she loves him, even though he's her brother, even though he's made all these mistakes. She still loves him, and she still I don't want to say covers for him, but in a way that a lot in our culture, a lot of women do about men. They cover for them or they cut them slack. I don't know if it's still true, but it would certainly have been true when Ginger Andrews wrote these poems. And would be more or less the introductory paragraph. This one paragraph is pretty short. Remember, your paragraphs in college are 8 to 10 sentences, but it's a rough draft, and I'm just trying to make an example. Escape. This is my new favorite topic, and I think it's particularly significant when you're trying to escape poverty. I think you can see um, how hard it is to escape this situation. These people very often walk on the edge, and all they need is one disaster to come along, and they fall into a pit that they can't get out of. So I think what she's trying to show us is both the struggle and the dignity that people who live in these situations have to deal with. Don't forget to do a correct works cited page, Little Brown Handbook, learn to love it.